story on the telly this hour, the terror attack on Sri Lanka's cricketers in Pakistan. 6 police officers, 2 civilians were killed.
It could be $200 million plus that we've actually lost as a nation.
Pakistan win. India blown away.
The sort of talent we have in this country, I feel Pakistan will become a major cricketing force now.
That's gone up to India. Surprise takes the count. It's all over. Pakistan win. India blown away in the final, and it's Pakistan who are over the line. Massive win. Great scenes.
Pakistan's victory here in the 2017 Champions Trophy was remarkable, considering they were unable to play cricket in their own country following the terror attack on the Sri Lanka team bus in 2009.
Pakistan are a force to reckon with, and so they need help to relaunch cricket back in Pakistan.
But at last, international cricket is returning to Pakistan. One of the big success stories is the return of the Pakistan Super League to its homeland. Previously, only the final had been deemed safe enough to be staged in Pakistan, but in 2020, the entire tournament was played at home for the first time. How delighted are you to see cricket return to Pakistan in a meaningful way?
I think the PSL, and I'm happy that I asked the cricket board that all the matches should be played in Pakistan, because previously they were being played in Dubai, and there were empty stadiums. Reminded me of some of the county matches I used to play. So the matches being played in Pakistan meant huge crowds, and then crowds backing their respective regions. So the competition was intense and people loved it. So cricket, mad country, finally watching proper cricket. I think that was wonderful. And also it sends the right signals, because this war on terror had been, such a disaster for Pakistan. Tourism finished. Investors wouldn't come to Pakistan. Our exporters would have to have meetings in Dubai to meet foreign investors. So from that point of view, this has been, a great move in the right direction.
Oh, he's been spot down the ground, and maximum.
This has been brilliant so far. There's just been a wonderful vibe around the place. We've had full crowds the whole time. It's been a proper celebration of bringing cricket back to Pakistan. It's been great to be a part of. I feel very honoured to be a part of it all.
Have you had the sense that people have been very starved of cricket here and therefore are hugely grateful to see you and your players here?
Yes, certainly. I mean, the most obvious evidence of that are the full crowds for every game. But the other obvious evidence is the gratitude that people have shown. Not only people that are directly linked to the PSL, but the wider Pakistan population. People have said thank you when you're in the hotel foyer for coming to Pakistan, or at the various airports. So it's nice to feel that sort of gratitude and warmth for the whole project of bringing cricket back here.
Up and away! Moen Ali! Oh, you little ripper this time!
What about the challenges for you as a coach, bringing all these players together almost at a moment's notice and trying to gel them into a team that works, that is working? You're top of the pops at the moment and going well.
Well, these players these days, especially the overseas players, they're very used to travelling the world. They're very used to coming into dressing rooms where they might not have spent any time before. And they're really great at interacting together very quickly. I think in our day, it would have been a lot more awkward because we weren't used to it.
Wonderful shuffle of the feet.
Moin, how good is it to be back in Pakistan?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, first of all, being back from a Pakistani background, I think it's always nice to come back after, I think, 17 years. But to play cricket and be part of the PSL is very nice.
They tell me that the crowds were pretty wild, having not seen cricket for such a long time.
The hospitality has been amazing, the food's been amazing, and the crowds in Multan and in Rawalpindi were electric. It was so loud. But it's not been the cricket performance you're getting congratulated for it. Everyone's like, thank you for coming and playing. They've been starved from seeing cricket, and they just want players and international players, current players, to come and play and be part of the whole cricket culture here, and it's been amazing so far, yeah.
Are you a fluent Urdu speaker? What's the language in the dressing room?
Yeah, there's a lot of Urdu being spoken, a lot of English as well, but I think I do understand all of it. Speaking it can be tricky for me at times, but I get my point across. I understand if they're talking behind my back, I know what they're saying.
There's that drive, crushing drive through the offside.
I'm getting good vibes. There's a lot of international presence here, commentators and players, and it's certainly become a very, very inviting gig.
Slow ball, and it's a brilliant one. Yes, 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 superb from Mohammed Amir.
I think the kindness and the hospitality that you receive from everybody, you know, even the guys with the sunglasses on and the machine guns, they're all kind of just so welcoming. And yes, look, we're incredibly well looked after because it's high profile and it needs to work. But, you know, Pakistan is a country that loves cricket, loves to sort of show off what it has to offer in terms of outside of the cricket grounds as well. You know, I wouldn't have missed it for the world.
It has been full house every single day. So it's fantastic for the players, for the viewers, for the fans, and I'm just really happy that cricket is finally returning to Pakistan.
We're just over halfway through this year's tournament. The crowds have been fantastic. The atmosphere in all the games looks as though it's been fantastic. It couldn't have gone any better for you, could it?
We couldn't have wished for anything else. Our concern was around the number of matches being played at one venue. So, 13 matches in total in Lahore. Were people going to keep turning up when Lahore weren't playing? But people have come in their masses. There's challenges around getting into the ground because of the tiers of security. We were worried about whether people would just get fed up of that and after a while just say, look, we're going. But people have just kept turning up, and the full stadiums, the quality of cricket has been absolutely incredible. The international players who are here have come out vocally for us and are really our selling pieces. We can shout from the rooftops about how safe and how great Pakistan is, but unless we get the likes of your Shane Watsons and your Jason Roys and your Dale Staines telling the world that actually it's a great place to come and it's fantastic cricket, we're not really going to move forward. So the cricket, the crowds, how the operations have actually worked, we couldn't have asked for anything more.
And pressure on, and pressure's paid off. Hafiz has got the breakthrough, and Lahore have had the perfect start in this power play. Both openers now dismissed.
Given how busy you are, have you had time to watch the PSL this year?
I haven't really had much time, but I've worked it out. If I have time to watch cricket, then I time it to the last 5 overs of the result. So, if it's a close result, it's quite fun watching it. As a connoisseur of cricket, I do not really enjoy watching 2020. I enjoy sort of the improvisation and stroke play. I look at the 2020 games and I think, why didn't I try to develop those sort of strokes? But I just love good quality test cricket. For that, I don't have much time.
Have you had a sense, though, of how successful the competition has been? The crowds have been fantastic. The atmosphere looks to have been incredible. At some of the new grounds like Multan that haven't seen top-class cricket for a long time.
But you see, we could see this would happen because people were starved of cricket. And then 2020 is just something which has just caught the imagination of the crowds.
Short, pulled away. Has he got enough of it? Yes, he has!
Despite the success of the PSL returning to Pakistan and recent tours from Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and West Indies, It remains a challenge to convince the cricketing world that Pakistan is safe. How hard have you had to work on governing bodies from elsewhere around the world to persuade them that this is a safe place to come and play cricket again?
Yeah, I think that it's helped a little bit that we've had foreign players in the HBL PSL because, they've gone back, they've gone on social media about the wonderful experiences they've had, how good the security's been. And then on top of that, it's taken us really lobbying. Thankfully, we've had quite a sustained period now where the major cities have been incident-free. And I think a huge amount of credit needs to go to the government because they really have massively cracked down in some of the hotspots in the northwest region. And I think for us, Af, there's always been this perception because everything that gets reported in the Western world around Pakistan is always going to be, bombs gone off here or something's happened there. But, players have come here, they've felt massively safe. The security has been second to none. If anything, there's been a frustration from players that they've been highly restricted. So the challenge for us is how do we find the balance moving forward where we give cricket boards, we give individual players the assurance that there's enough security around them, but then allow them if they want to go to a shopping mall or go to the cinema or a restaurant, that they're able to do that. But that's a challenge that we're going to have to manage over the next 2 or 3 years.
Did you have any concerns at all about coming back to Pakistan?
For me, there was not much trepidation security-wise here, but I know that the overseas players probably, who come from a different background to me, probably felt a little more nervous about it. But we've been really well looked after. I think one of the things that makes people feel secure and safe is the level of security, state-level security, which is comforting in the expertise that you can see operating. It's slightly restrictive when it comes to just wanting to get out and about.
It's very safe in my opinion. I heard a lot of things about coming to Pakistan, positive things from the guys who came to the finals the previous year. My parents come out every year, once a year, so yeah, it was easy for me to decide to come. I think the hardest bit is to be hotel bound. At times you just want to go out in the day, probably go to the shopping mall or whatever. I think for the first year in the PSL in Pakistan it is quite difficult, but I think in the coming years they will allow a bit more time to go out.
The first and so far only professional side from England to visit Pakistan since the 2009 terror attack is MCC, who toured Lahore in February 2020, led by its president Kumar Sangakkara.
It's been brilliant. The guys have really bonded really well. We've had great chats in the bar after games. We've had some great cricket. Everyone's really enjoyed their time. We've visited places in Lahore. We've done things apart from cricket. And it's been a very, very successful tour. For us to be here and then to enjoy Lahore and Pakistan and their hospitality, I think goes a long way to show that international cricket can return to Pakistan and should.
The MCC playing here, I think it's exceedingly important. We're fortunate to have had Sri Lanka back. They were the team that was attacked in 2009. I'm really grateful to them to be the first team to come and play a test series in Pakistan, followed by Bangladesh last month, and now the MCC. I think MCC is for us vitally important because it gives a signal to the rest of the world.
But one of Pakistan's neighbours has been conspicuous by its absence. India hasn't played Pakistan in Test cricket anywhere since 2007. Do you see that changing anytime soon?
Realistically, no. Would we want that to happen? I think the supporters on each side would want that to happen. I think BCCI and ourselves actually, ironically, have got a decent relationship. And we just want to play cricket. But unfortunately, with the government sign-offs they have to get in India, it makes it very, very difficult. I think Imran has now hardened his view, having tried for months on end to try and build a cordial relationship with our neighbours. I think he's realised now he's fighting a losing battle, and I think, we've done everything we can as a nation. We're certainly not going to beg India to play us. And I think life moves on, and I just say to people, just lower your expectations of us ever playing India, at least in the next 10 years.
In the past, the game, cricket, has helped bring together India and Pakistan. People called it cricket diplomacy in 2005 when India came to tour here in 2011. Is there any chance at all that the game could help to reduce the kind of aggression that we see between Pakistan and India at the moment?
You know, Mike, I played 2 series in India. One I played way back in 79 when the 2 governments were trying to come close. And I can't tell you the wonderful atmosphere on the cricket field. You know, the crowds, big crowds, and excellent atmosphere. The next time I went in, I think I played in 1987. This time there was tension between the 2 governments. And I saw hostility in India which I'd never seen before. Our players were actually being pelted from the ground, and you know, I made them wear helmets fielding on the boundary lines. So it was not a very good atmosphere on certain grounds. Now, when India came to Pakistan in 2005, again the governments were trying to get close. And I never thought I would see ever on a cricket ground. What happened was that Pakistan lost to India in Pakistan. And actually the crowd cheered the Indian team. So great atmosphere. But right now, playing cricket in this atmosphere, with this sort of a government in power, I would imagine it would be a terrible atmosphere on the cricket ground. However, there is nothing quite like, I guess for you, the Ashes. Mm-hmm. But Pakistan-India series is just a different league, you know, in terms of tension, pressure, and enjoyment.
England, I think, are due here in 2022, is that right?
Yeah.
You'd expect to see them here, would you?
I got asked a question the other day and someone said, you know, do you think Australia and England will come? And I said, well, the question that I would ask right now is why wouldn't they come? It's going to take some small steps. I guess there's the confidence that needs to be built up in certain players to come here. You'll get some who will come at a drop of a hat and others will say, I'm not going there, because of the perception that's been built up. So we've just got to keep working with the ECB on that. We're working very closely with Cricket Australia. We've got South Africa due to come next January. We've also got New Zealand who are due to come as well. So we're really working towards that happening.
England and Australia are 2 countries that haven't come yet. What would your message to them be? I mean, presumably you can never guarantee 100% safety and security.
You can't guarantee 100% anywhere in the world. But I think that Pakistan now is safe. It's getting safer. All our problems stemmed after the war on terror when the Americans landed in Afghanistan. Now the peace process in Afghanistan has started. And we feel that this whole area will become peaceful, inshallah.
Thank you very much. Cricket is gradually returning to a country whose people need it more than most. And as much as Pakistan needs cricket, cricket wouldn't be the same without the game's great enigmas.